guys, welcome to my newest video for today. For today's video I'm going to be doing a DVD Blu-ray update. So these are the DVDs and Blu-rays that I purchased towards the beginning of the month. I mostly got them for my birthday, which was on the 4th of February, so I thought, you know what, I'll go and add some more titles to the collection. And yeah, so a lot of these movies are from actually ones that I haven't seen in like years. Like I last saw them at the cinema like 5-6 years ago, so I thought, you know, it's time to fill in those gaps in the collection. So yeah, I'm just going to get straight into it, and starting off with the two TV shows that I picked up. And the first one that I have is Avenue 5 Season 1. I watched this last year and I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it was just because of the time I watched it when like it was sort of at the height of lockdown and I hadn't left the house in like a month, so I don't know if it was just my sense of humour had gone all loopy, but I thought this was one of the most hilarious things I'd ever watched, so I wanted to go ahead and pick it up for the collection. But yeah, I did think it was like quite an interesting sci-fi show, and it actually had a lot of parallels to, you know, the ongoing situation here, but yes, I did quite enjoy Avenue 5, so, and I'm looking forward to Season 2, see where that goes. But yeah, so Avenue 5 Season 1. And then I also picked up Titan Season 2. This is one of my favourite shows. It's like, I loved Season 2 of Titans, and it basically introduced me to a whole, like, comic books and that, because I ended up reading the Judas Contract, which this season was loosely based on, so it's sort of interesting seeing the parallels, and then that kind of developed into, yeah, reading more Batman comics and things like that. So yeah, I'm so glad that I've sort of got into this show, because that sort of opened up the whole like wanting to read more comics and getting into sort of the source material that all these superhero shows are based on. Like, because I've always loved the movies, like the Batman movies and things like that, but I never read the comics, but this show actually made me want to actually check out more comics and that. So it was it's definitely been a journey with the amount of comics that I've read in the last year. But yeah, it also kind of started from Titan Season 2 randomly, but yeah, I just love this show, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Season 3. So, but I wanted to go ahead and pick up Season 2 for the collection, so that's Titan Season 2. And then we sort of get into the start of movies. I believe there's only a few in here that are actually blind buys, but they were sort of, because I'm trying to stay away from the whole like blind buying, but I figure if they're cheap enough and it makes it more worthwhile if I get them as part of deals and that, I don't mind so much. But yeah, most of these I have actually seen. So the first one that I have is The 33. This was based on the 2010 Chilean mine disaster when 33 miners became trapped. I think it was, yeah, quite a few months they were trapped for. So I thought this was a really like well done story. Like, you sort of got from the people who were waiting for them to be rescued and what was going on underneath, like while they're underground. But yeah, I remember really enjoying this one. So, and it was, I think I picked this up for like $5 at JB, so I thought, you know what, go ahead and add it to the collection. So that's The 33. And then another one that I watched, I think this was a couple of years ago, I ended up renting it, but that is Bait. I actually thought this was a pretty decent shark movie, which I'm finding very hard to like actually find decent shark horror films. It's only a few that I actually quite like, but I thought this one was decent. It was cheesy, but this one is like, it's an Australian shark film. It's like there's this sort of a tsunami and these people become trapped in a store and there's a shark. So that's the basic premise of it, but I remember enjoying it. So that's Bait. A film I haven't seen since the cinema, and that was Central Intelligence, but I remember enjoying it when I saw it, so I thought, you know what, go ahead and pick it up. This one was a reacquisition, and I think this is like the newer like re-release of it, so it's not my original copy I had, but I did pick up Chicago to add back into the collection. Then I have Churchill, which is the other Winston Churchill movie that got released in 2017. But I believe this one sort of takes place towards the end of the Second World War. So I think, yeah, it's sort of dealing with, I think it was sort of more as it began to sort of start turning the tide, and then he was sort of becoming not as relevant anymore, and he was sort of dealing with all of that. But I remember liking this one when I watched it a few years back. So that's Churchill. And then I have one that I actually feel is a bit underrated, because I remember loving this when I saw it at the cinema, even though I haven't actually seen it since. But that's Crimson Peak. I remember enjoying the hell out of this one, and like I love the whole gothic atmosphere to it, and I loved sort of the general story, and like, yeah, I love the cast, and I'm actually surprised it's taken me so long to add it to the collection. But it's actually part of I think it was 3 for $20 or 2 for $20 deal at Sanity. So I thought, you know what, I'm finally going to go ahead and add it into the collection so I can actually sit down and rewatch it. So that is Crimson Peak. And then I also picked up The Disaster Artist. I've only seen this one the one time. I saw it at the cinema. I've never actually seen The Room, like the one that this is, like obviously the story of making that film. But I thought this was actually quite enjoyable, like sort of seeing the behind the scenes and everything. So maybe one day I will sit down and watch it, but just to sort of get the background context. But for now I'm sort of just happy sticking to the making of the movie. So that is The Disaster Artist. And then we sort of have one of the few blind buys in this one, and that is Escape from Pretoria. I'm trying to check out more of Daniel Radcliffe's movies, because I actually watched Jungle at the start of last month, and I actually really enjoyed that one. So I sort of want to see some of his other films that he's done, you know, post Harry Potter and that. So, and this one sounded interesting, but I also believe this was made, like it was filmed in Australia, if I remember correctly. So I'd be curious to see this. So that's yeah, Escape from Pretoria. And then probably a controversial film, but I know a lot of people did not like this one, but I actually didn't mind it when I saw it at the cinema, and that is Gods of Egypt. And also, incidentally, this also stars Brenton Thwaites, who is Dick Grayson, Nightwing on Titan. So apparently he was sort of in a like a mood to pick up some of his like other projects. But yeah, I haven't seen yeah, as I said, Gods of Egypt since the cinema, so this could be interesting if I sit down and rewatch it now. But yeah, I just randomly decided to go ahead and pick this up. So that's Gods of Egypt. Then I sort of have another film that I haven't, again, another one I sort of watched back to, I think this is towards the end of 2017. I remember renting this one, and that is the Lego Ninjago movie. I actually was surprised by how much I did enjoy this. It's not, I didn't enjoy it as much as the other Lego movies, but I sort of did like that whole, did enjoy the story as a whole, and also, I liked the fact that he's sort of one of the ninjas, and then his dad's like the bad guy, and everyone in town hates him because of that. But, and like they're all afraid of him. But I did, yeah, enjoy the story, and yeah, I remember having fun watching this. So I did pick up the Lego Ninjago movie. This was a film I watched on Netflix a few years back, and I actually thought this was actually quite well done, and that is Lone Survivor. So which, yeah, I thought is, yeah, quite because I think this was just Afghanistan, because I've been finding that I haven't really been liking stories set in Iraq. I think it's Iraq and like that area, like general Middle East. But Afghanistan war stories seem to be sort of ones where I actually do like them and like to sit down and watch them. But yeah, I did quite like, I suppose more modern war films, I suppose I should say, is the better term for it. But this one I did quite like, so I picked up Lone Survivor. And then a film to add to my Christmas collection is one that I actually saw for the first time a couple of years ago on TV, and that was Love Actually. I know everyone loves this movie, and there's always sort of the ones that people tend to reference and that. But yeah, I'd never seen it until a couple of years ago, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to add it to the Christmas collection. Then I have The Mule, which is one that I actually was quite pleasantly surprised by. This one I thought was actually quite entertaining, about this older guy who ends up running, like he's sort of on the outs with his family, and he's sort of having money troubles, and he ends up running like drug money, and then he ends up putting it back into the town and things like that, and it's actually quite entertaining. So I picked up The Mule. And then another film that I haven't actually seen, but I remember I wanted to watch this back at the cinema, but I never got around to it, and that is Official Secrets. But yeah, it sort of sounds like an interesting thriller, so like political thriller, so I picked up Official Secrets. And then I also got Onward, which was one of the Disney Pixar films from last year. I saw this when it came on Disney Plus, and I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to go ahead and add it to the collection. Yeah, so Onward. Then I have another reacquisition to the collection, and that is Saving Mr. Banks. I think this is a really good adaptation of the making of Mary Poppins, so I have that. And another film that I watched, I think I watched this in 2015, just before that year's Oscar seasons, and that was The Theory of Everything. I thought this was a really interesting look at the story of Stephen Hawking and sort of his personal and professional life. So I remember really liking this one, so I wanted to actually pick it up and own it, a physical copy. So that is The Theory of Everything. And then last but certainly not least, I have Unsane, which I thought was quite an interesting film. So this sort of, as I know, this was like filmed all on like an iPhone, and then you sort of get this story about this woman who becomes trapped in like a, it was like a hospital, like a psychiatric ward, and she sort of realizes her stalker's trapped like in there with her. So I thought this one was quite interesting, and I do like Claire Foy as an actress, because I quite liked her on The Crown, so it's sort of interesting seeing her in other films. But yeah, I did remember liking this one, so I went ahead and picked up Unsane. And that is everything that I've picked up in the last few weeks. So yeah, as I said, most of these titles were sort of actually all, I think, with the exception of a couple of them, I purchased these like with birthday money and that, so didn't do too badly with that. But yeah, so I added some titles that I've been after for a while to the collection, so I'm looking forward to sort of rewatching that. And then also picked up a couple of new to me films as well, so hopefully at some point I will sit down and watch those ones. But yeah, so I'm just going to stop it here. Thank you guys for watching, and until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye!